Previously, on Twilight's Edge. At the safe house, Lowen tries imparting a final lesson to Morris about trusting the Concerned Citizens group. Group leaders Ariel and Genevan defend their capacity to stand up to the Bastards of Erebus, who are attracting more Hell Knights into Westcrown. As Nico finds holes in their stories, Sombra and Flint share their own reasons to join the fight, or any fight, against the Hell Knights. Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the Tumble Through podcast.
Tumble Through! Tumble Through!
I am your host and GM, as always, Criffo Bernal. My pronouns are still he, him. And yeah, we're back. Lucky 13. How do we feel about the number 13? Lucky or unlucky?
I love it. It's not valid.
It's just a number. I don't.
You don't believe in numerology?
Nope. I went through that phase in 8th grade, got all the Nostradamus books sitting at on the carpet in the Barnes & Nobles. Been there, done that.
My niece was born on a 13th, and her first birthday was on a Friday 13th. So...
Sounds good.
And she's a cute little girl, so
yeah.
13 can't be a bad number.
Wait till she turns 13, though, then who knows what happens.
Yeah,
that's it. That's when the opening happens.
Basically.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Who do we have here today, as always?
We have Marcus, pronouns are he, him. I am back here with not many opinions on the number 13, but I have opinions about Grave Orc Oracles because I play Zakun, the Grave Orc Oracle of the group. And I'm looking forward to see how we're going to deal with some Erebus people. Let's see how that turns out. I think we also have Anna here.
Yes, we do. Hello, I am Anna. I use them pronouns, and I am playing Lowen, he, they pronouns, who is a Hellspawn Nephilim wizard. And I think also has now various nicknames. I think Cool Wizard, Edgelord. I think something new came up last time. I don't remember what. But yeah, that's really fun. I also don't have any opinions on the number 13. I think it's just a number. Pan.
Hey, what's up? I'm Pan. He, they, she. I play Flint. I play Flint the Ruffian Rogue, Kobold. And I have opinions on number 13. And by the way, guys, Taylor Swift, okay? Taylor Swift said 13 is her lucky number, so eat that. Evan.
I did not expect to learn that Pan is the resident Swiftie of this group.
Stunned silence to that revelation. Kia ora, everyone. I'm Evan. I play Nico, who is a Rainfall Orc and a Leaf Druid. My opinions on... both our pronouns are he, him. And my opinion on the number 13 is I like it simply because it's a prime number. Ida.
Hi, my name is Aida. My pronouns are she and her. I will be playing Sombra, pronouns she, they, who is a bright fetchling or Kayal monk. And 13 is a good number if you go to the bakery and you order a dozen of something and they throw in an extra one. Then I like the number 13 very much in this instance. Extra donut, extra muffin.
I feel like I have to admit I'm not actually a Swiftie. I just looked up really quickly.
Like,
for all this, if you're listening now and you're a Swiftie, I don't want to steal your glory, guys. I'm sorry.
Editor that stays in. Editor that
you need
stays
to own
in.
it. Don't backtrack.
Pan, you can just shake it off. You found the actual resident Swiftie.
At least I can still relate to Taylor Swift. I was playing another game some time ago, and we had to name our horses in the game. I was exalted. And one of the players named their horse, or said their horse was a dappled rowan, and no one else got this reference. No one. Nothing. Chapel Rowan.
Oh, Chapel Rowan, yes.
To whoever made that Dapple Rowan reference, excellent job.
I'm an old. I don't know. Taylor Swift is just about my grasping on for dear life millennialness.
You should spend more time at the Pink Pony Club.
Yes.
Whoosh over my head. I genuinely do not know.
At least I got it.
Because you're our baby. We love you very much.
True. I'm turning 28 at the end of this month. I don't think it's a baby, but I'm
Baby.
baby, so that's true.
I say with all the love and respect, baby.
So, per the recap, any fight against the Hell Knight makes right.
Fight makes right.
Doing the right thing for the wrong reasons.
Yes.
I can imagine Sombra's got a T-shirt with that on it.
Afterwards, we can say, like the great Taylor Swift, "Look what you made me do."
Okay, that's enough. You need to stop. You need to stop now.
That's Evan. He does not stop.
Oh my gosh.
No, he's
Have we got
not.
lines and veils? Because I am rushing down.
Taylor Swift is a fight.
I'm playing an X card.
Apologies, Creeper. You wanted to take us into the session. Please go ahead. I will shut up.
It is, I think, mid-afternoon as we return to the shrine. Most everyone has left, opting to meet at the O'Brien Gate in 2 hours, which is just enough time to get up there, or if at least 1 hour if you hurry, 2 hours if you take a side stop at some point. And left at the shrine is Lowen, who stayed behind to identify some items, to re-prepare some spells.
Mm-hmm.
So we come to Lowen in a small corner of the safe house.
Yes, is Ariel still around?
Yes?
Is he alone? I'm assuming not. I'm assuming there's people with him.
He's probably kissing his girlfriend.
Maybe. Let's just say he's sitting on this bench here in the main shrine area, sort of meditating and praying himself. He has been home for a couple hours after a very exciting morning and a very exciting past 24 hours for him as well, being in first Atari custody and then Hell Knight custody. And so we see the tanned Iovaran man sitting there with his long brown hair that like dangles onto his shoulders. He's looking up at the statue of Eridan, and as you approach, he looks up to you.
Lowen looks down at him and goes like, Ariel, hi. I was wondering if we could talk in private somewhere.
What is it you need to talk about?
Well, I believe you had a business proposal for me, did you not?
I suppose so. We haven't given it much thought, but here, sit next to me. And he scooches over on the pew.
How many people are around?
I think most of the people are... Right now the map has tokens covering it, but I think most of the people have either gone off to catch some shut-eye or have filtered out. They're heading back home as well.
Yeah, Lowen will accept the invitation and will sit down. And they will go... they will look at Ariel for a moment and then we'll go... You said you wanted to use my connections, my network, correct?
Yes. I can't tell you, I don't have any plans. But I wouldn't want to refuse an opportunity that comes our way. Our organization is young. I mean, we haven't even named ourselves yet. Morris wants to name us the Knights of West Crown. I think that's a little too obvious.
I believe that sometimes organizations are best left unnamed. After all, if someone has a name, then they're easier to find. Word spreads around a little quicker. I know you said that you don't have any monetary payment at the moment, but I also accept information and, well, let's just say that I have noticed that you're not being entirely truthful. Now, I am not one to dig too deep if I can get something out of keeping that silence. I understand that, well, like you said, you don't have a plan yet, and I feel like there are a couple holes in your story. That is most unfortunate. It would be even more unfortunate if those holes became bigger and started to spread. What I'm trying to propose is that You can buy my silence with information. If you tell me everything you know, everything you learn, be it through your own investigation or your associates, then I think that would be a good deal. If we just keep it between us.
Can you give me a diplomacy check?
Oh, Foundry's real slow. 13. Oh, wait, I don't have...
1 hero point.
Yes, I'm gonna hero point that, actually. Please be better. Okay, that is better. So that's a 30-20.
If I didn't know any better, it might sound like you're threatening me. But I understand that people like you, this is simply how you conduct business.
It is, yes. And don't see it as a threat, see it as something that is mutually beneficial.
I'm not sure what secrets you think I have, but I promise you that any information that comes our way that we think would be pertinent to you, I'd be happy to share. As long as you continue to help our cause and to try and do good for the people of West Crown, which it seems like you and the rest of our colleagues are at least somewhat interested in doing.
Yes, well, I wasn't saying that you have that many secrets to hide. I was saying that there are holes and that, well, I like digging unless I have a reason not to. And this deal is you giving me a reason not to. But I would like to be privy to any information you find out, and in return I will, as I said, keep my silence. I will not be the one to tell anyone if I do find out any secrets. And I will use my network to see if any news is available on my end. I think that would be a good deal.
Understood. And he stands in front of you and extends his hand towards you.
Before I take his hand, can I get a kind of vibe check? And especially if he's like lying or anything.
You can roll a secret perception.
Can I use the lie to me feat?
What does that do?
It means I simply use my deception instead of perception, and to see if someone's lying to me.
You can just do that whenever?
I think.
Regarding the lie to me, you can basically use it whenever you engage in conversation with someone trying to lie to you. So we're assuming Ariel is trying to lie to you. You can use your deception DC if it is higher than your perception DC to determine whether they succeed. This is when someone is lying to you to notice if they're lying to you.
Okay, so basically, as long as you're in conversation.
Yeah.
And not just like watching people, you have to be a part of the conversation.
Yeah, you have to be part of the conversation, and it cannot be like if someone holding a speech to you or anything.
Exactly. Okay. You get the sense that Ariel doesn't know what to make of this. Mm-hmm. He doesn't have people coming to him regularly and making somewhat veiled... It was a bit of a veiled threat, like, I won't dig into your shady past.
Yeah, definitely
if you
was.
tell me everything you know. And yeah, there's a bit of hesitation and confusion.
But that's also very useful information for Lowen, because that means that he knows kind of where he's at and how much experience he has with certain things. So he will take Ariel's hand and he will shake it and will then let go and be like, well, I should catch up with my colleagues. I should call them. We will speak later. Have a good evening. And they'll turn around and start heading for the rest.
As Lowen leaves, the camera pans around and peeking out from a door that wasn't completely shut, we see young Morosino, who was listening into the conversation.
I had a feeling. But that's fine.
Then the camera opens on the outside of the Datari Presidium, on the border, in Rego Scripa, but not far from the border of the Krua. And we see Flint in his uniform that he's literally been wearing for over a day now.
Yeah.
There's blood and sweat, and not really sewage because of how clean the sewers were. But,
Thank God. But there's a lot of blood and sweat for sure. Scrapes too.
Yeah.
He did get stabbed to unconsciousness for a bit.
Right. Flint, what does the Presidium look like from the outside?
I think from the outside, this is more of an office district. There's lots of high offices and such, but the Presidium is weirdly well kept. There's none of the usual low end grime. People don't come to this area to even hang around, because hanging around in front of the cop shop, as it were, the entire Presidium, where the cops all are, is a bad idea. So it's surprisingly quiet, surprisingly tidy. It looks a little bit abandoned, not in a way of run down, but as if it was finished and no one's there. But despite that, the inside is a bustle. But I'll let you get to that there. Around the edges, there are people seem to be chill, but most people are often on edge. So whether they be fellow Datari or people who don't want to be there particularly, maybe they've been processed trying to get out. You go to the Presidium, everyone's a little bit nervy, which is how Flint likes it. Nervous people talk more.
Awesome. So we see Flint sort of rushing in and rushing through. The Presidium, the Datari that are found here are either on desk duty, so their uniforms are looking really good. Primarily, they are all human. For the most part, you can see some Ayuvarans, half-elves, some Dromar, half-orcs, the occasional dwarf, even. If there are halflings here, they're not working as Datari, they're working as groundskeepers, or I don't want to say janitors,
sanitation officers.
Sanitation, exactly. But they too are looking sharp, one would say. Everyone here has their uniforms in place, and that's exactly how Doritas Saria Rotchin wants it. I imagine that there is one big bullpen where the desk jockeys hang out, and then there are stairs that go up to the captain's office, the Doritas's office. It would make sense that she has a bit of an open door policy.
Yeah, I think it's well known that there's an open door policy because you don't bother Doritas Rotchin unless you have something important.
Totally. What is your relationship with the Doritas?
I think probably actually not terrible. I think I see them someone who respects people who are in duty, despite Flint's stature and plays as a kobold and an unusual thing about. They respect that Flint's willing to put in the work and the grind. They beat the street and so on. Perhaps even seeing everyone should start on the ground floor and work upwards. So there's a stern respect, I think. And
of course, being the only kobold on the force, people know who you are, and you're a corporal. You've gained some rank, so
that's right. For better or worse, people know who I am. I'm sure that some people see Flint and go, "Huh, it's that kobold," and some people go, "It's that kobold."
As your boots go up the steps, you see through the open door into Doritas Saria's office, which is quite clean, as is the rest of the Presidium, and you can see the Doritas. She is a Chilaxian woman, but she has Ulfin roots as well. So she's a bit taller, broad-shouldered, blonde hair, which is not normal for, which is not common for Chilaxians, I should say. FYI, Ulfin is sort of Viking culture. I realize I should do a little lore drop just in case. And she's writing with a quill pen, and as your boots come up, she says, "What is it, Corporal Flint?" And she doesn't even look up.
Flint didn't expect her to. Stands to attention, a weary attention. He still looks like crap, and he's aware that's not how you look here. But he says, "Dr. Rotchin, I come with pressing news."
She looks up, and then almost her face recoils a little bit as she sees. "And what is the state of your uniform?"
He looks at himself, probably just noticing for now just how bad he looks, because I apologize. I found myself in this state while attaining said pressing news. I assure you I will be sorting my uniform out as soon as possible, Mom.
Okay, what is it? She finishes writing with a flare of the quill pen, and then puts it down and folds her hands together.
First thing Flint's gonna do is look around. Is there anybody else in the room?
No, it's just her in her office.
Okay, then Flint closes the door.
She furrows her brow a little bit at that, but doesn't say anything.
Apologies. I have some information that we may prefer to keep currently away from any other ears, including our own. Here. And he's going to pull out both the letter and also the wooden coin, but he'll hold the coin for later. The letter is the important thing. See for yourself. And he'll hand her the letter.
She raises an eyebrow as she takes it from you, and you can see her thumb is sort of fingering the mayoral seal on the letter. She, like, with the one hand, flicks it open and starts reading. Corporal, dare I ask how you found something like this?
Flint stands smartly to attention and says, "Yes, Mom, you might dare. But I would think that the information is of pressing enough info that we could skip the formalities perhaps and look into this issue seriously. I found myself among some concerned citizens, and along my questioning, this turned up."
Well, the biggest surprise here is that the Duxatar actually has concerns or is even doing his job at all.
Quite so, Mom. Flint does not betray any kind of...
I'm also surprised the mayor even cares. He's been so busy with his latest obsession, these murder plays. I've been digging through the books, and unfortunately there's nothing to outlaw them or to move against his wishes. But yes, that he would be inviting Lictor Wrens to bring more Hell Knights into the city is worrisome. Thank you for bringing this to my attention, Corporal.
Were it to come to light this had occurred, and were said concerned citizens possibly of further use, would it behoove us to perhaps aid them in some way? They do not trust the Atari, Mom, at all.
Well, that's also not unusual, but Corporal, I would assume you are much too busy on your shifts and routes to be going out of the way to help. What is it? Concerned citizens?
Permission to speak freely, please, Mom.
I like you, Corporal. You've, for the most part, done good work, and your presence in the Datari sends a good message to the rest of the people of West Crown. So yes, permission granted.
Thank you, Mom. I appreciate that. Yesterday, I found myself bumping heads with local Hell Knights. They were making another pass at the anthology. They were not particularly worried about the word of the law, Mom. Between you and me, Mom, less Hell Knights on the streets would make all of our lives a lot easier and safer.
She gives a single nod in response.
That being said, if this problem with the bastards, as they're known, could be nipped in the bud, as it were, less reason for the mayor to even try and bring him in.
This is what disturbs you the most about this letter. I've seen 1, 2, maybe 3 reports about these bastards, but nothing to indicate the level that requires more Hell Knights on the streets. Why? She stops and holds a hand up. I'm not going to ask any questions out loud that I don't already have the answers to.
Very good, Mom.
What is it you want from me, Flint?
Do I still have permission to speak freely, Mom?
Yes.
I would like an allowance of permission from yourself to look into this deeper. The people will look into it as well. They do trust me, and trust for Datari is hard to come by with the public.
You've always had a way with people who don't like the Datari. That's useful.
So, speaking freely, Mom, if I might take a small leave to entertain some of our people, and perhaps find out if we can't do anything about this problem.
Make a diplomacy check for me, please.
Alrighty. That was almost a 20, but I'll take a dirty 20.
Dirty 20 is nice. Very well. Needless to say, it's best not to wear your uniform while you're on a leave of absence, but I will be very eager to receive regular reports of what you uncover.
Of course, Mom. I will be in touch.
And you will need to find someone to take over the training of What was your...
He kind of slaps him on the head and goes, "Of course, young Harrison. Bright lad. Good future. Strong instincts."
If he can get over the blisters that have built up on his feet in the first week, then we'll see how good of a Tatari he becomes.
Well, blisters are what lets you know the street's talking to you, Mal.
She nods once more. A singular nod. Never more than one nod in a row.
One nod.
And then That's her way of laughing.
I like that.
All right then, Flint. Corporal. Good luck.
Thank you, Mom. Oh, one last thing. Might I requisition a couple of things? I require perhaps a bandolier and a new weapon if I could.
See the armory on your way out. And leave my door open. And she literally just puts her head back down and shuffles some papers and starts writing again.
Yep, Flint salutes smartly. He is quite taken by her. He's like, this is what a Tatari should be. Turns, opens the door, and makes his way out.
Cool. All right. You're getting a new weapon?
No, I was going to go for a spear instead. My rapier is not as good. But I definitely need a bandolier because it makes it easier to get potions and stuff. I also got a cool new cape to hide everything else.
I would say probably around the same time Flint and Lowen get to Obrigan Gate, where Sombra, Zekun, Nico, and Fugo are waiting for them. It is mid to late afternoon on another very hot day.
Didn't you say when Lowen was at the shrine that the people were heading to bed and such?
Heading home.
Oh, I thought you meant to head to... Okay,
No.
Sorry. I missed it.
Because I have 15 o'clock on my world clock.
Then it's so funny that Lowen said, "Have a good evening."
I'm sure Lowen just doesn't care that much. Like, have a good whatever,
it's true.
man.
Yeah, have a good whatever.
But honestly, because of the way life works in Westcrown, that by sundown, the streets are primarily empty.
Well, yeah, it's nothing good about the evening.
True.
If the people go out to dinner, they're going at in the summer, they're going at 5 p.m., which isn't that early, but in the winter, people need to be home by 4 o'clock, 3:30.
Yeah.
When you put it like that, have a good evening sounds like a threat. Have a good evening.
We'll just say
Good
evenings
evening.
are moved up. So yes, Lowen and Flint meet up with the rest of the party, waiting at Obrigan Gate, where some Rundatari are manning the gate. That for now is still open. This is a relatively new change in Westcrown in the last few years, since the leshies of the Ramble Gardens have been popping up. The gate has been open for people who are visiting the Arboretum and for the leshies to come out and interact with the community. I wouldn't say work jobs, but there are people who live in the Cader who do come into the Karua to work at tanneries and butcheries and very low-end work.
So Nico's concern would be those communities that are under a threat from what was said in the letter, and also that Vidi was last seen up heading this way as well, and just wants to make sure that everything's all right with him. But it also ties in with what was going on with everything to do with the Bastards of Erebus. So this seems to be the right way. Yeah. Hey. You're all here. Excellent. Should we make our way through? Because I'm just concerned that we're going to lose a light soon, and we need to, get on with it.
Great.
Night is dangerous here. We should, indeed, get to it.
I get the measure of these Rundatari as we come up on them. What are these guys? What's their vibe?
The Rundatari, it's not a desired position.
Yeah, it's like a punishment to be a Rundatari.
Basically, if you can't hack it in other positions. Not that the regular city Datari, which is what the force you're a part of, is that much more respected. They're definitely more honorable, air quote, positions. But yeah, the Rundatari is not a place that you want to be in if your career goal is city watchman.
Right. It's like being sent to the wall.
More or less. It is a literal wall.
Right.
And it used to be that when this gate was permanently shut, there was actually a pile of like broken wagons and wooden detritus that had been piled up in front of the gate and burnt to sort of like deter people from being around it and to keep the riffraff out. But as I said, since House Thrune has sort of eased the regulations on West Crown in the last few years, a part of that is the opening of the gate and allowing more traffic to come through.
So, to the gardens and then the last stone tracks of the bastards I saw here.
Yeah, that sounds good.
That sounds like the right approach.
Let's go, Sombra walks forward.
And I think that the Lich community, they obviously live in Rego Cader. So
Let's follow Sombra's tracks first to see where they lead. And if the Leshies need to be questioned, we'll question them.
Okay, right.
Well, ask them questions. I didn't want it to sound more threatening than it should be.
It's a bit harsh, Zakun, even from you.
No, it's, I think it's just cultural. It's just cultural.
We'll ask them questions. But first, the tracks.
Let's go.
And Sombra would lead the group to the neighborhood where she had first taken Morris and Ariel the day before yesterday, I believe that was.
Yesterday morning.
We
come to that neighborhood where you can see, again, the sort of apartment complex where Ariel had questioned that man, Benjamin, I want to say, perhaps. Sombra, you notice that there are a lot less people hanging out outside. Maybe it's a hot day, but yesterday was hot and there seemed to be more people around. But you also know from here you can find your way to the house, the sort of ruined house where you left the Hellspawn twins that had attacked you yesterday.
So I walk the group to that intersection, that alley where we split up. And from here I just sort of turn around 360 and I start looking for, or I say, Sombra rather says out loud, if I were a pair of bastards, didn't care about just walking around and threatening people, where would I come from? Does she see abandoned buildings nearby, places with broken windows, shutters?
See anyone around?
Yeah, it stands to me that if these guys are out here making havoc, the people will be the ones to know what's going on. We should ask around.
Okay, so we're doing some exploration stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like, asking like a shopkeeper or something that has somebody like nicked
there
your
are
money
no
recently.
shops
That kind
in
of
the
thing.
Rego Cader.
Oh, I mean, like, like an ordinary person on the street. Have you
Sure.
seen stuff?
So, Sombra, it sounds like you're sort of like searching.
Yes.
Or are you moving more into survival or perception is what I'm thinking.
You can do survival, perception.
I would like to assist if that's possible. I think Lowen would also have the same sort of thought.
Yeah.
Like seeing,
Can you double
trying to
assist, or
spot
is
those
that a
things.
thing?
Yeah, maybe, but Flint, it sounded like you were more interested in gathering some information, talking to people.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I was going to do that as well. If I can help talk to people.
If Nico and Flint talk to people and while the others like do the search, I think that could work out.
And Zekun, did you have any ideas what you want, how you would move from here?
Sounds to me if all the bases are currently covered, Sombra's taking a look around, helped by Lowen. If there's no other viable option here, I'm going to tag along with Nico and Flint. I want to point out, if we're going to talk to people, Zekun is really good at that stats-wise. Just putting that out there.
Nice. Excellent.
Okay.
I've also got a new feat which would help in that kind of situation as well, called Eyes of the City. I don't know if you know it.
Interesting. Can you? What
does it do?
Yeah,
What is it? For the audience, also for me. What does it do?
Put it in the
This is
foundry.
annoying, but like just in case.
There we go. You can track down targets with the help of locals. You can use diplomacy or society, whichever you're trained in, to track creatures and settlements. You can chat with locals to help follow the trail of creatures you track.
Nice.
At the GM's discretion, there might not be enough people to speak with to keep following the trail.
So with this feat, it sounds like Zekun and Flint would be aiding Nico on this.
Absolutely.
Is that all right? Is it we can do?
Yeah, that sounds
try
good. That sounds good.
I feel this is like the perfect montage where the three of us are basically looking for people around. We're asking, giving
Yeah.
descriptions of what happened.
Yeah.
And while Lowen and Sombra are just really trying to find these people themselves.
Could I, before we split up, we've got a description of the people you encountered. Hey, Sombra, what do these people look like? Can you give us a bit of a heads up? Are they striking? Have they got a similar kind of like gang patch?
Yeah, some kind of gang uniform or anything?
I was trying to think what the fantasy equivalent of like, I don't know, grungy emo people. Sombra would like kind of rub her temples, roll her eyes, and recall that the two bastards that she encountered were Hellspawn bandits. They were killing citizens. Citizens are going to be scared about talking. There is a threat to their lives, which is why Sombra is preferring to look in the environment rather than risk further people. I recall that they were dressed in very edgy leathers. Went a bit too far with the black makeup, which Sombra says ironically as her face is smudged with eyeliner.
Kind of side-eyeing Lowen as well.
Yeah, I was waiting for that one.
These guys could not do that makeup.
Yeah, everyone looks... Well, Lowen's not wearing any makeup, but the moment someone goes, edgy bastard, I expect everyone to turn their head.
The two edgy bastards are standing side by side in this case. But
Yeah.
Sombra only having seen two, they kill people. Right. And they leave their fucking calling cards behind. Those tokens.
Could I then, if Sombra shares this knowledge with us, I think Nico and Flint can go down the talk with people route, while Lowen and Sombra go look for the actual people route. But Sombra mentions that there might be people who will be really scared to even talk about them, too scared to talk about them. Perhaps even extra scared if there's 3 people coming up to them and be like, hey, you want to tell us about these people?
Yeah.
I would like to have Zekun go out a little bit solo and see if I can find any more of these calling cards or people that would be willing to talk one-on-one about this. And if necessary, even be a little bit more direct in my way of questioning to get information out of them.
Are we splitting the party 3 ways?
I'm not thinking like we're splitting us across the entire Rego. In my mind's eye, we're basically like never further than a street away from each other. Yeah, exactly. Like we're just basically trying to cover more ground, but we're not going to opposite ends of the district.
Yeah.
Let's start with Flint and Nico. Flint, go ahead and roll. So first off, Nico, are we doing diplomacy or society?
Quickly checks character sheet. Diplomacy.
Where are the numbers?
Yeah. So Flint, start off with the diplomacy to see if we can aid.
Sure. Okay. Well, I'm going to hero point that.
The natural one.
Yeah,
the natural one.
That's
I'm
rough.
going to hero point that.
Yeah.
Well, at least it can't get worse.
This was my
Another
first
natural
roll.
It could get. Yeah, that's exactly how it would get worse.
No, don't say that.
Well,
don't
I'm
say that.
re-rolling with
Oh,
there
that
we go,
was
a
so
20.
nearly a 20.
That was so nearly 20, but I got a dirty 20.
Yeah.
So Nico, when you roll your diplomacy check, make sure you give yourself a +1 circumstance bonus.
Okie dokie. That's a natural one.
Oh my days!
I'm gonna hero point that, please.
What's
if I may.
happening to us today?
Oh my god.
Get it out.
I don't like it.
Now. Oh, that's a 15.
So indeed, as they're going around, they are absolutely noticing that as they try to talk to people, a lot of the people here are very wary because, who are you? We don't recognize you. What's going on? And then as soon as you mention, we're looking for the bastards, they're like, oh, nope.
Yeah.
Hell no. You get the sense that something, well, hold on, I'm gonna wait. Zekun, since you're doing it separately, go ahead and give me a check.
Can I also pick either diplomacy or society?
No, that's specifically because of the eyes of the city. Now you're gathering information, which has to be diplomacy.
Right. So I'm basically walking around the streets looking for people to talk to, really politely introduce myself, and try to get some more information out there.
This is a secret check.
This is a secret check. Can I still give myself guidance on this? You have a very good ground to stand on to say no in this case because it's only like until the start of my next turn, and I technically don't know when I'm exactly gonna make this roll. So you can say no, Marcus. You can't have guidance. It's fine. I understand.
It's also weird because you would cast it and then start talking to someone, and they'd be like,
exactly.
"Whoa, what the fuck?"
Yeah, hello. Hey, I have a question. No, that would just...
Where does guidance come from?
You're going to get this secret diplomacy roll coming your way. The question marks of fate have been rolled.
Ooh.
Oh, I try to read Krifu's face every time the secret roll.
Yeah.
I've gotten better about...
You can try to see the reflection in his glasses.
Yeah, the reflection in his glasses.
I can't wear my glasses anymore. Zekun, your tactic of going solo as to not scare people was exactly the right move. For the most part, you get the vibe, you get the same experiences. But eventually you talk to a...
I'm glad we wasted our hero points on that.
I know, right?
But hey, you looked heroic doing it.
Right.
You come across a pair of halflings that are digging through the rubble of one particular ruin where there's a big fountain of like some angel trumpeting or whatever. And you can tell like all of the copper that was once on this has been scraped off as much as possible. And you mostly guess that this amorphous blob of stone was once supposed to be an angel. And they're a little hesitant, but you seem nice, and you're wearing a very nice cloak, they comment. And they inform you that, yeah, a lot of people around here are freaked out because yesterday evening, the bastards came through, and it was a lot of intimidating. They took a lot of foodstuffs and beat up a group of old men. Including one Benjamin for having snitched. The halflings say they saw it from, like, they were hiding behind a corner or in a closet, storage room somewhere. Where was I going with this? Yeah, so that's exactly what you uncover. And they also tell you that they are in an old temple of Erastiel on the northwestern side of the Cader, mostly western, north of the Ramble Gardens. There's a square there that looks like it used to be a really nice place. They lived there for a couple years when they were kids. They're not siblings, but they've grown up together, and the Cader is their home basically.
I patiently listen to their life story.
Yes.
Like, I actually sit down and legit patiently listen to this.
I think that's a part of why it's working so well, because these are people that they don't often get the opportunity to tell their story, and no one ever seems to be interested in what they have to say. And if they are, they're usually being like browbeaten for information or for money or for food or what have
They're
you.
used to the idea when someone pays attention to them, it's for something they want to get out of them. And Zekun is trying to at least present himself as someone who's just there to listen to them, taking mental notes of the locations being mentioned, and any kind of essential information, but also taking a few more minutes.
When they grew up there were a lot of livable houses in this square around the temple, which has a bell tower on it as well. And they explain it's the biggest temple of Erastiel in West Crown. There are a couple of little shrines, like ruined shrines around the Cader that they would sometimes go to. They're not believers or worshippers of Erastiel, but he's a good god, right? And they kind of like shrug and look at each other. But there are a couple of good homes where there might have been shop fronts at some point, and they lived out of one of them. And there was a nice community there. But as things happen in the Cader, places change. People move in, people move out, bandits come, or monsters sometimes. And so they left that area long before the bastards moved in.
I nod, and once it's clear that they're finished with their part of the story, stand back up. Thank you very much for sharing this. I am sorry to hear there's such hardship here, but I am grateful for you being so honest and open to me. I reach into my pouch. I give each of them 1 silver piece to buy whatever you need, whatever the bastards took. And should you look for a market to buy, for people to meet, for warmth to sit in, the Pleat has ample of that.
Okay, I need names for these halflings now.
Come on, table. You got some good names for 2 halflings.
Ida
Brad
once
and
said
Chad.
that she wanted canonically all halflings to have Albanian names because that was the naming convention I had for all the halflings in my back, in Sombra's backstory. So, do these halflings have gender presentations?
They might. That's open to the table.
If we have
And one
good
of them
names,
non-binary before I leave.
Yeah, okay, one of them is non-binary.
One non-binary.
At least one of them is non-binary.
One of them is named Mira, Mira.
They're both 10th level fighters. They join us to help out real quick. And
At the high, they're probably level 1.
what? No.
Oh, sorry,
Mira
no,
sounds
I
like
meant to
a.
say level -1.
And the other one is named Luli, Luli.
Mira and Luli.
Yes.
And is which one of them is non-binary or both of
Luli
them?
would be. Luli is the diminutive word for flower, so
And Mira
both.
is...
Mira would be traditionally a feminine name. Mira means daylight, the sun, and Luli refers to flowers.
And they're siblings or like non-sibling siblings?
They're friends. Lifelong friends. Best friends.
Oh, great.
Two
That's nice.
best friends.
So 2 level 10 best friends.
Level
Thank you very much.
-1
Come and
best
help
friends.
us.
thank you very much, Mira and Luli.
And they nod excitedly and they head south. Whether or not they go to the Pleat, well, between you and me, they go to the Pleat.
And I go look for the rest of my colleagues, also wondering what Sombra and Lowen have been up to in the meantime.
Indeed. So it sounded like Lowen wanted to aid Sombra.
Yeah, I was wondering if I could use underground lore to see, like, assuming these people are trying to... I mean, they're being kind of obvious with the way they're going around, but I'm assuming they might come from a maybe more shady background. I think it was along the lines of what Sombra said as well, where she wanted to see, like, just look around, like, is there, like, broken windows, like, place and where they could have.
I'll let
looked
you
out
roll
and stuff like
Underworld
that.
lore separately, not as an aid to Sombra's
Okay.
action. If you want
Okay.
to. If you want to aid Sombra, then it's got to be the same check as what Sombra's doing.
Sombra was going to make a case for using Underworld to find specifically tracks of where they would have been hiding. They probably have stash houses somewhere. Where would they put them? Where would
Exactly.
they set up for ambushes?
But I don't know, because to me that reads more survival than Underworld lore, which it could be helpful. But I also think I don't know if you can aid each other on lores, because you're specifically recalling knowledge with lore. I think, maybe I'm making this up, or maybe I'm completely wrong, I don't know. But if you're trying to find places where they might have been, I'm going to look for a perception or survival. But if you're trying to think first, then we can go with Underworld lore.
I think Lowen's tactic, at least, would be to try and think like them and try and figure out, like, where would, as kind of somebody, where, if I was this person, where would I go, what would I do, and would then use that underworld lore, assuming that these people are bad news, but Lowen's also bad news to some people. So I think that's kind of what he's trying to do.
And then,
Okay.
So if that's a separate check, I will roll that separately.
and Sombra then is actually looking for these places. So I think that's a perception. She's searching. for
Yes,
them? Okay.
but the Underworld lore is going to be recall knowledge, which is going to be a secret check. Perception will be public.
I will roll a
Cool.
perception check. Total 19 on Sombra's perception roll.
19.
She's just kind of walking backwards, looking into allies, tiptoeing into windows, maybe seeing a curtain pulled close, even more shut, and just backing off sheepishly.
So I think the two of you are walking together, because safety in numbers. As you're thinking about where they might be, of course, that's a really hard question, and what they might do, because the Cader is full of hideouts and holes and what not. And in particular, you start thinking about the dusk market.
Right. Yeah.
For our listeners,
Exactly.
Lowen starts thinking about the dusk market, which is a wandering bazaar that sets up within the shells of large spaces in the Rego Cader. Whether empty temples, viras, the manors, abandoned manors of noble houses, theaters, or anything sort of grandiose. And at the dusk market, it's basically a semi-secret marketplace. If you know where it is on that particular phase of the moon, or what have you. I actually really like that. That's canon now.
That sounds so cool.
It moves around, doesn't it?
Based on the phase of the
You have to
moon.
constantly figure out. Yeah, you constantly figure out where it is.
So cool.
So, and Lowen, you know, any ne'er-do-well or crooked Rundatari can tell you where the market is going to be on a particular night, for a price, of course.
It's okay.
At the moment, Lowen, you don't know where it's going to be. But if there's any place where you could buy information about the bastards that might give you an edge, it would be the dusk market.
I think coming at a conclusion, Lowen would look at Sombra and just go, have you ever heard of something called a dusk market by any chance?
Has Sombra heard of the dusk market?
Seeing as you're trained in the underworld lore, it's very likely. You two would be the only ones out of this group, I think. Flint might, as a child of West Crown, but even though he's a bit of a scoundrel, he seems decidedly on the side of lawfulness.
I'm familiar.
I think that would be a perfect place to buy us some information about these bastards. Sure, some people there will know who they are, or at least know where we can find them. What do you think?
That's an option. One we can keep in mind depending on what else we've uncovered. Has Sombra uncovered anything?
Yes. You begin to see not tracks. Of course, these are cobblestone streets, but they haven't been taken care of in decades. And so there are stones missing, potholes, what have you.
The last time she left the bastards, she left them in bad shape. Maybe they were bleeding.
It's true. But as you're walking, you begin to see barricades set up at certain street intersections. On first glance, it just looks like, okay, well, it's, scrap that's been thrown into a place. But as you begin moving, it does feel purposeful. Like, all of a sudden, you're realizing, hey, we can't go westward anymore. Almost every street that we see that heads towards the western part of this place seems to have been barricaded.
Hold on. And Sombra lifts a finger to point at the barricades. And is there some shutter, some window ledges, something that Sombra can just quickly climb up to get a visual, to get a vertical...
Parkour.
Give me an athletics. This isn't to determine whether or not you can, like you're physically able to climb. It's to determine whether or not you can find something.
Sombra rolled a natural 20 for a 28 as she just... She says to Lowen, one moment, and then just parkours up the side of a building like a spider.
Tumble through.
Yeah, Lowen just watches, and once again, the same thing happened when they were walking before, and Sombra does some kind of backflip down the stairs. Lowen just shakes his head, just goes like, show off.
As you get to the top of some building here, you look westward, and you can see peeking out of the sort of rooftops of this ruin. It's actually quite a nice view. You're on like a bit of a hill here. So you can actually see all the way to the south, and you can even see like north over the big wall that like separates the city from the countryside and the river beyond it. But to the west, you can see what looks like a church spire peeking out, and what looks like there might be a square there. And you notice, there have been surreptitiously, strategically placed barricades to keep people from entering into this neighborhood.
Sombra clocks that direction, and calls down, I think I got it, and scampers back down just as gracefully the building.
Chloe just looks at her and goes like, do you do this every time, or what's for show?
I'm sorry. If I took your turn, you're welcome to do it next time.
Oh, no, I don't like attention that much.
I like getting to the answers quickly, and I believe I have the answer.
Alright, I'll do share.
These barricades, they're pushing people away specifically from, and Sombra details the area she saw. I think this is a good lead. I think we should recoup the others and get there while we have light.
Sounds like a good idea.
Zekun at that point wanders around the corner, seeing the two of them, just seeing how Sombra got back down, walks over and is ready to get like a little rundown of what these two found and shares what the two friendly halflings have shared with him. Very polite two halflings talking about a temple where these bastards might be hanging out.
I found one westward, specifically where foot traffic is being impeded.
We got told to bugger off 4 times.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry to hear that.
We just mentioned the bastards and people just shut down.
Yeah,
like
they were
slammed
not
doors
about
in
it.
our face. Yeah.
Well done, guys. Good shout.
Yeah, good stuff.
Have they both cleaned up yet? I think like Lou would just give them like a look over and just be like, well, you haven't
Yeah,
showered
that's true.
yet.
I've just changed I've changed some of my clothes, but I haven't showered.
Nico would have prestidigitation and be
Wow,
pristine.
you could possibly over here or nah.
Oh, sure, yeah, of course. I thought this was a look you were going for. No. Wom.
Thank you.
I do get the feeling that these bastards are indeed a very touchy subject for people to talk about. So I'm not surprised that it's harder to get them to talk about them.
There's a lot of fear out there.
The halflings I spoke to, I got the impression that things used to be, well, maybe not good in this part, but at least better than before the bastards.
All more reason to deal with it then. I promise you I could probably have a look at it. So let's have a look. Sombra, Lauren, you mentioned you found something?
Westward, there's an abandoned temple.
And is there a way to come there without the feats of athletics that you displayed?
The fastest way would be to employ some athletics and just get over the barricades.
Very well then.
Criffo, you said to get information about this market, you would have to go to, for example, a Rundetari, right?
Or any sort of ne'er-do-well, so like shady person in the Cader who you would guess might know what the dusk market is tonight.
Are there people around, like Rundetari or shady people otherwise?
No Rundetari at the moment, but you head back to where the diplomacy people came back from.
How about we would first check if we can find anything hidden going towards that western direction?
Yeah, I'd like to follow one lead.
If that's a dead end,
Yeah.
we can always check in with the dusk market.
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay. So our party heads off westward towards the Cader and this temple, this church tower in the distance. And that is where we'll end our episode today.
Bum, bum, bum.
I am so mad that I spent a hero point on getting to the front home.
Oh, me.
Tumble Through presents Twilight's Edge, a Pathfinder 2e actual play of the Council of Thieves Adventure Path, converted from Pathfinder 1e. Tumble Through uses trademarks and/or copyrights owned by Paizo Inc., used under Paizo's fan content policy, paizo.com/licenses/fan content. Tumble Through is not published, endorsed, or specifically approved by Paizo. For more information about Paizo Inc. and Paizo products, visit paizo.com.